What is up, my friend? Welcome back to another episode of Chris Talks. So happy to have you back here on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening on the podcast, just an audio version, then I'm so glad to have you as well. Thank you again for listening to another episode today. And today we're talking about clients and how to make sure to know if your client is a good match, right? Because it's really easy to fall into the trap of working with people you don't enjoy working with, and then the experience is just not good for both people. So we're going to address how to make sure you know and also find the people that you are a good fit for and working well together. We'll dive into that. So before we do that, I want to give you a free guide actually, and this one is all about how to create a side business and a side income if you're a musician, composer, songwriter, but you're maybe not, maybe you're stuck in a full-time job, or you're working on something that you're just not a big fan of, and you want to build up a side business or side income with your skills and monetize your passions, then I want to give you this guide called How to Make Money as a Composer in 2020 and Beyond. It's totally free, and it kind of goes over the step-by-step process that I've personally used over these past few years to start scaling up a passive income business that really allows me to work on what I really enjoy the most, like creating content for you and writing music, and just freeing up more of my time to allow me to do these kinds of things. So it's my gift to you for watching this video. And yeah, it's totally free if you want to check the box below. And if you're on Spotify, feel free to go over to the YouTube channel. Literally just type Christopher Siu, my name, and you'll find the episode here, and you just click on the link in the box below. So let's kind of get into the content here today about finding a good match in terms of clients, right? So I guess it really first depends on the type of service that you're providing to this other person. Maybe you're a mix engineer, a mastering engineer, maybe you're an orchestrator, a producer, a teacher, But at the end of the day, let's just say you're providing some sort of freelance service, okay? Like you're adding value to someone else. So with that in place, how do we actually know if the person that reaches out to us, or the person that we contact who's interested in working with us, if they are a good fit or not? And to give you a little bit of background context, I've worked with people who I've been frustrated with every time I see their name pop up, because maybe they're too demanding or they don't really respect my time. Those types of things, you start to feel angry and even resentful. I've definitely felt all of those things in the past. Whereas when you work with a client you really appreciate and you feel like you're a good match, it just soars through the roof, and the whole process just goes so much smoother, So let's talk about those three signs, three things that will tell you if your client's a good match. Number one, if you have a positive energy together, okay? And this is this is really important. This is really crucial, right? Because this is even before the step of actually working together on the specific project. This is when you reach out to that person or they reach out to you, and whether that's through a phone call or an email or a text, you can start to get the vibe off of the other person to see what type of person they are. Now, for me, I like to talk with people in a conversational way, and usually I might have a few emojis here and there. And then, sometimes I'll have exclamation marks. But I tend to be courteous and I tend to be polite when I'm talking with other people, especially through text and whatever. And also when I'm talking on the phone or on a video chat or something, I try to be as polite and courteous as possible. And so naturally, when I'm reaching out to someone or someone's reaching out to me, I will naturally look for those certain things to see if those people are being respectful and being courteous and being polite as well. For me, that's kind of a big indicator of whether or not I'm going to enjoy working with this person, because we have similar energy, right? We have similar outcomes, we have similar goals, but more importantly, do we have similar manners of, being a person, right? That this is getting real deep, but how do you sum up and compare against this other person? Do you think you'll have a similar energy that will allow you to work seamlessly together, or are your vibes not really matching? Are they curt? Do they only send one-word answers? Do they ask a whole ton of questions and never say thank you? Those types of things are red flags to me, and they tell me that potentially this client, excuse me, will not be a good fit to work together. So I think for me that the first thing when it comes to seeing if the client is a good fit or not. It's just seeing if you have a similar energy with that other person. Now, what I was just talking about might not apply to you in terms of like the personality. You might have a totally different personality than me, which it's totally fine, right? Because we're all different. But, you probably know over a video chat or a phone call, or even some text or some emails, whether you enjoy talking with this person, whether you enjoy corresponding and dialoguing, and whether you feel like that would be a good match for both of you. So only you can really know that, but I think that's a fundamental first step to consider before committing to work on a project with the client. All right, the second thing I want to mention is they respect your rates, right? So naturally, as a freelancer, as a service provider, you would naturally want to charge for your service, your product, right? So yeah, assuming that they are a good fit in terms of personality to work with you, do they respect your rate when it comes to you presenting your fee to them, right? So, a really interesting thing to do is if you have a website, you can even share that exact rate of what you would charge them to work on that project, right? So I'm sure if people go on there and they see your rate and maybe it's not a good fit for them, then they will go away, right? But let's say you don't have that set up, and let's say they come to you and they ask you, oh, can you mix my song? And then you say, oh yeah, my mix, or I charge $500 flat fee for the mix. Then if they respect your rate, then they might go, yeah, that seems like that very reasonable price, and I've heard your work on your website, and it sounds beautiful. But due to my current situation, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Would you be able to meet me, somewhere a touch lower, let's say like $450 or something, right? And you can certainly usually tell if people are being genuine about it or not. But the best is when people literally say, yeah, that sounds great, let's do it, right? And then they kind of send you the payment, either 50% upfront and 50% after completion, or just totally upfront right away. So I've been in the situation where clients have gone, I've quoted them a certain rate for a project, and maybe like I'm feeling like, oh, are they going to be able to afford that? Did I overcharge? But as soon as they go like, yeah, that seems perfectly reasonable, I'm fine with that, let's do it, right? That's all you need. And that kind of encourages you and affirms that, you made a fair exchange, right? You gave them a rate that they respect because they understand it takes you time to do your work, and the quality of your work doesn't usually come cheap, right? And then vice versa, you know that you're charging them a rate that you feel good about, that you feel like is worth your time doing, right? However, if they don't respect your rates and they go, yeah, that, can you do like 200? Can you do 300 instead of 500? Then that's just way undercutting you, and you don't want clients like that, because they're going to complain. They're going to want you to do extra hours without paying for that. And, those people just don't understand your value. So you want to avoid clients like that, right? You want to make sure you're paid worth your time, and you're also working well with that person. And speaking of which, I do have a couple of clients. All right, I've been in the situation where I've quoted them a certain rate, but I've worked with them in the past, and they had a kind of a difficult situation. So they approached me and they told me that they couldn't afford that rate at the moment, and they would really appreciate if we kind of met in the middle. And I definitely trust this client, so I went with it because it was also a project that I wanted to do. And that's another thing. You want to make sure that this project that you're entertaining is something you actually want to do, right? So yeah, I kind of compromised there, but at the end of the day, I maintained that relationship. I had a lot of fun working with that person, and we're still working together today. So you don't want to burn your bridges, so to say, But anyway, yeah. So number one is making sure you have a positive vibe and energy together. And number two is them respecting your rates. And number three, I kind of already touched on this, is that you both feel equally excited about the project, right? So you do want to make sure that this project is a good fit for you. And this is where the portfolio and putting yourself out there really comes into play, because if you don't have a list of stuff that you've already worked on, or you're not able to show the client projects you've worked on in the past, then how are they going to know what type of music you enjoy working on, or what type of music you enjoy listening to and providing value for, right? So for me, I have a few pieces on my channel that I've worked on previously, mostly Disney orchestral stuff, For clients, I've done, sweeping orchestral music. I've done some pop stuff. I've done some Christmas work and all that. So when people visit my channel or my website and they look at what I enjoy doing, then they can decide within a few seconds whether or not their vibe or their project is kind of matching what I do, right? So they can listen to one of my music, right? One of my pieces. And if they hear a Disney style piece and they're doing a country song, then maybe we're not a good fit, right? So all that to say that, when they come to you and they share your project with you, if it's a genre or style of music that you haven't really heard before, you've really have no experience in, you either maybe would really enjoy working on that because you want to expand your portfolio, but at the same time, you might not be able to do or deliver as good of a result as if someone else who's been doing it for a living in that genre, maybe they would do a better job instead. So I would rather you work on something that you're actually passionate about, excited about, and you think you could do a good job, because that ultimately allows both of you to win, right? Because you know that you're delivering a better product and a better result if it's something you actually feel passionate and excited about. So ultimately, I really think it comes down to these kind of three things: making sure you have a positive vibe and energy together, making sure that they kind of respect your rates and that that they're going to be on board with what you're doing and you're not being stretched and taken advantage of. And finally, both of you are being equally excited about the project and it actually feels fun to kind of correspond back and forth, maybe do revisions and stuff. And you both are confident that the final result will be very high and very good. And so that really is the ultimate to me. And I'm able to speak to this because I've actually had experiences with both bad clients and good clients. And the good clients are ones that I know I'm excited to work with because they respect me, I respect them, I know they're skilled, they know I'm skilled. So there's kind of a mutual respect there. Whereas the bad ones, it's more like, oh, do I have to do this? It's just not worth my time. They want me to do this and this and this, and I feel like I'm not appreciated for it. Like, that's the worst situation to be in. So, definitely be on the lookout for those types of clients. Again, not everyone is like this, but you do have the occasional client who could be like this. So hopefully this video kind of helps you out. And again, thank you so much for watching. I want to give you my guide on how to earn a living in music in 2020 and beyond. It's a totally free guide, but it kind of goes over the foundation of my online business and how I set it up for it to scale and grow these past few years and will continue to grow in the upcoming years. I think just being an entrepreneur and just going online now than ever before is a very necessary thing. Like establishing yourself as a brand and putting yourself out there is very, very important. So I think this material will absolutely help you if that's something you might be interested in. So you can click the link below in the description box and check it out. And again, if you're listening on the podcast, just Apple Podcasts or anything like that, feel free to visit the YouTube channel and download the guide whenever you have a moment. So thank you so much again. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.